So I'm sitting here and I should be working, but I'm taking a break because I decided it would be nice to just say hi to all of you. I was thinking about the questions that I get and thinking about things I'd like to tell you guys, and so I thought I'm just going to do that right now. So I love it when we can just sit like this and I can feel like I'm actually chatting with you. That's so nice. So how many of you saw the post that Greg and I did recently together? It was our first attempt at working together, and that doesn't always go well, but this did. We had a really good time. It was a lot of fun. A brand asked us to do a reel for them, and of course it was with women's clothes and men's clothes. So we, I turn my phone off, it keeps dinging. We had a good time doing it, and a lot of you made some really, really nice comments about it, which was very nice of you. Thank you. So I don't know if we'll do it again or not, but it was a lot of fun to do. And the clothes were really nice, so that was really good too. You can find those over in Shop My Closet. Let's see, what else has been going on? Oh, we're going to Montreal next week, the end of next week. We're going to go up to the cottage, and then from there it's only a couple of hours to Montreal. And we've been meaning to go to Montreal now for, oh my gosh, several years, and we just never got around to doing it. So Greg's birthday is on July 16th, and we generally take a birthday trip for his birthday. That's one of the things he really likes to do. And we've been going to Toronto every year, which has been great. We've really enjoyed it. Toronto is a fun city to learn our way around. But this time we're going to go to Montreal. So as always, I hope you come along with us, and I'll try to make sure that there's plenty of pictures that you can see from our trip. And I'm anxious to see Montreal because I don't know anything about it. Although I do have some neighbors up in Canada that are from Montreal, and they told me that it's a really great, fun city to visit. So looking forward to that. Let's see, what else? Oh, I was going to answer one of the questions that you guys ask me all the time, and that's how Greg and I met. Interesting story. So back in 2003, it had been a couple years since my husband died, and a friend of mine sent me a full-page newspaper page, and it was an advertisement for Match.com. Now, you have to remember, this was back 20 years ago when online dating was not prevalent like it is now. She's been my dearest friend since 3rd or 4th grade, and it was so sweet of her to send it to me. And as I recall, she wrote a note across it saying, "Time to get on with your life." So I just laughed and I read about it and I thought it was interesting, but I tucked it away in my desk and didn't think too much more about it. And then one winter day, I was on my computer, and lo and behold, up comes this ad for Match.com. And I said, oh, that's what Paula was talking about. So on a lark, I clicked on it. And back then, little box came up, and you could put in female looking for male or male looking for female, and within a certain mileage area. So I thought, I'm going to see what this is about. So I put it in there, and up comes Greg's profile. And I'm reading the profile, and I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, because it was a really nice profile, and I was really attracted by one thing that he said, which was, I have a very good life, I enjoy my life, but it would be nice to have someone to share it with. Because, you know, a lot of these people, I'm guessing, online are complaining, you know, about their lives. They're searching for something because they're unhappy. So anyway, he sounded like a normal person, which kind of surprised me because not knowing anything about online dating, and back then, I kind of thought, why would somebody do this? And, you know, why can't they meet people other ways? So anyway, on a lark, I sent him a note. I still can't believe I did this. And it said, why would you do this? I said, how could this even work? I said, I could tell you that I am a size 2 and that I'm a certain age, and I could be a totally different person than I'm sharing with you. And I just don't see how this really works. And he wrote back and he said, I agree with you, but my daughters talked me into doing this, and that gave me a laugh. So we actually started communicating, I think, a little bit through the, I wasn't on the app, so we couldn't communicate through the app. So we emailed each other, and he lived in a different town. So we emailed each other for a while, and then I got this email from him one day saying that he was going to be guest conducting here at Ithaca College a new piece that he had just written while he was in Spain. So if I wanted to come by after the show or come by and see the show, it would give us a chance to meet. And he said, no pressure. If you don't want to come, that's fine. But, we'll give you a chance to see who I am. So my friend who had started this whole thing by sending me that article, I wrote to her, I called her, and I said, oh great, now what do I do? And she says, well, if you're having a good hair day, you have to go. So I went. Took a lot of coaxing from her the whole day, saying, are you going? Are you going? But I went, and then I'm walking to the auditorium, I'm sitting down. What I hadn't thought about, I thought, well, this is going to be great. I'll get to see him in person. What I hadn't thought about is that a conductor comes out, takes a quick bow, and turns around. You never see anything but the back. So I'm sitting there the whole time wishing that I could, see around him, hoping he'll turn sideways a little bit. Of course he did not. I mean, very briefly. But then after the show, I wasn't quite sure what to do. Do I just sit here? He doesn't even know I'm here. Should I try to go backstage? Should I just get out of here while I can? So just as I was debating and the whole auditorium was almost completely cleaned out, I see him and a couple of other gentlemen walking down the steps from the side of the stage. And his eye looked out, and I'm the only woman still, pretty much the only woman still standing out there in the audience, with pretty much a dead giveaway. So he goes, and I said, yes. And so he came down and we talked, and it was kind of a little bit awkward conversation. We talked for a few minutes, and then we shook hands. And as I was walking away, he said, could I call you? And I wasn't sure. So I said, yeah, I'll email you my phone number, not knowing if I was really going to do that or not. So anyway, I obviously did email him my phone number. And after that, we talked on the phone for a long time. And then we went out to dinner. And funny story here, when I finally told my daughter what I was doing and told her that, we were going to meet for dinner, she suddenly became the mother and I suddenly became the child. She says to me, well, you can go, but you're not going to ride in the car with him. You can meet him at the restaurant. So I actually did. I actually told him that, I think it would probably be better if I met you at the restaurant. But anyway, that's the story of how we met, and we had a lovely dinner at the restaurant, and that was, the beginning of some great years. So those of you that had been wondering how we met, I've written some of these articles on dealing with grief, and I was still dealing with the grief of my husband passing away. And I was just lucky that I started seeing someone like Greg, who was very understanding, willing to listen. I still remember him saying to me, I want to help if I can, but I don't want to be part of the problem, which I thought was extremely thoughtful. And he was very helpful. But it was, it's a difficult time when you're still grieving for someone that you loved and you meet someone new that you start to have feelings for. So I have written some blogs on grief, and I hope that they have helped some people, writing it from my experience. But my point here is that can be one of the darkest times in your life, and you think that your life is never going to be fun, and you feel like, if you're older, you feel like the best times of your life have passed you by and you have nothing to look forward to. And I am here to tell you, you do not know what life has in store for you. You could be very surprised at some wonderful thing that is going to happen right around the corner. That is the wonderful thing about life, that no matter how hard it gets, it can, and very often does, get so much better. So if you're going through a hard time in your life right now, I hope maybe that little thought might help a little bit. So what else did I want to tell you about? Oh, I get questions all the time about how I dealt with menopause, so I might as well throw that in here. When I went through menopause, which was a really long time ago, they were just starting to give out a pill that was half estrogen and half progesterone. And so my gynecologist gave it to me for the hot flashes. Really, the hot flashes were my only really bad thing, and I didn't mind them so much during the day, but the ones at night, they really interrupt your sleep. You don't get good quality of sleep anymore, and then you're grumpy during the day. So I did take them for a while, but I'm someone who does not like to take drugs, so it really bothered me that I was taking them. And then they came out with a new news thing about the fact that taking estrogen during menopause could cause cancer. And I know a lot of research has been done since then, and the pills have been completely changed. But back then, they didn't know, and it was causing breast cancer in some women. And so that's all I needed to hear to stop taking it. So at first, I didn't completely stop taking it. But lucky for me, because I don't like to take drugs, I had already been cutting the pills. First, I cut them in half, then I cut them in a quarter. And what I found out was that what I realize about medicine in general, that sometimes it takes a lot less than the standard dose to get the job done. And I did not need a full pill. A quarter of a pill took away my hot flashes. So it would have been silly for me to keep taking that full pill. So I only took the very, very minimum that I needed to stop having those hot flashes. And that was great. But then I still got worried. You know, I mean, you worry about ingesting things into your body that are going to cause you problems down the road. So I did stop taking it, and the hot flashes came back. But I just dealt with them. I dealt with them a lot with exercise. Exercise has always been my thing that's gotten me through everything in my life. So I just increased my exercise. It did help with the sleep. It did help with everything. And I got very, very serious about yoga just around that same time. I had always been practicing it, but I became much more of a more dedicated to it, really understanding how much it was helping me during that time. So that's how I got through menopause. So there's two of the questions that I've been getting a lot: how we met and how I got through menopause. Two very different questions, but I'm always very happy to have your questions. So, you know, anything you want to know, just let me know, and I will come back and chat with you and hopefully answer your questions. I'll be back soon. We'll talk about some other topics. I hope you're all having a great day.